Hello, welcome back for part 2 of the archetypes for the Barbarian. Today we're going to be looking at the Stormy Storm Herald, the Furry Totem Warrior, and the Undying Zealot. We hope you enjoy.
Which one is next?
Moving on to Storm Herald. You are an angry boy who has so much anger that they're able to turn it into a magical aura around you, designated to specific different, places. What's it called?
Environment.
Yeah. Place. Same thing.
Oh,
So,
Storm
basically,
Herald.
Yeah. Stormy boy.
Yeah.
At third level, whenever you rage, you get an aura of 10 feet, which has an effect that you can activate as a bonus action, correlating to either desert, sea, or tundra. Desert is whenever you use your bonus action, everyone in that 10 feet takes 2 fire damage, which increases with level. When it's sea, everyone in that 10 feet, when you activate your bonus action, has to take a dexterity saving throw, take 1d6 damage, and or half as much damage on a successful saving throw. And for Tundra, every time you activate it, every creature of your choice gains 2 temporary hit points, which increases with level, and so does the sea one.
Okay. Before we continue,
Yes.
damage type for the C1, I assume, is lightning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely
I
ability.
love this ability. Yeah.
It gives the Barbarian exactly what the Barbarian wants. To use the bonus action, extra damage types, and it even gives it a little bit of an area of effect.
Yeah.
It is spot on for a third level Barbarian ability, and the flavor it introduces to the Barbarian is juicy.
Storm of my soul is raging.
I spent so long in the desert. All I can see is desert when I rage.
I'm thinking a Barbarian of the desert folk. People who value water more than gold. A descendant of an ancient civilization. I'm thinking that sort of character would be really my take on the Storm Herald.
Yeah.
I'm loving the visual of the Storm Aura, because although it's a bonus action to activate the effect, I'd thematically at least say that whilst you're raging, it's just visual. It's visually there.
Yeah.
So the desert, you've got sand whipping around you. The sea, you've got like the, sea. Actually, yeah, the sea would be like lightning arcing off of you in a 10-foot aura. And then the tundra is like the ground freezing around you, the cold wind. I love the image.
Yeah, bonus action implies that there is some extra effort put in, which means that like you are putting in effort to make that the heat more intense, or the sea thunder just crackle a bit more, or the tundra just chill. Oh, God, the flavour.
I love it.
It's juicy. Okay. Before we continue, would you choose your aura based on the ability, or would you choose it to correlate with the environment the campaign is set in, or in oppose to where the campaign is set in? Because
I would say, personally, it doesn't matter. I think the backstory of the character is what should rely, or whatever the character's feeling, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there should be any cap on what they should be able to.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I personally would probably go with desert or tundra, purely because those thematically I can conjure up the imagery for better than the storm one, the sea one. Sandstorms and blizzards, those I can give more oomph to when I'm describing it visually. So those would be my choices, and I'd probably try to stick to desert if the campaign is somewhere particularly hot, or tundra if the campaign is somewhere particularly cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's completely your right as a player character. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just my take on it. I was thinking you guys might have a similar or a different take, but apparently there's no take being made.
No.
Well, it's the character's choice. It's your choice to do that, and it's anyone else's choice to say, "Oh, I feel like desert this level."
Yeah. I feel as though I would choose an environment based on the backstory and then stick to that environment throughout, unless I'm also potentially the only circumstance where I would choose different environments for each ability, which we'll get into, but is if I can picture a character almost on a Last Airbender style quest to acquire knowledge of these different storms or something like that.
That does actually spark a question. When you get the ability at third level, do you have to choose the environment and stick to it, or can you choose a new environment every time you rage?
You can only have one, I believe. And then each time you gain a level, you may choose a different one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which does kind of suck.
I would probably stick to the same one throughout then. Similar to what Bailey said, unless the excuse is he wants to master the elements and be the last airbender.
Yep. That's really the only circumstance I can see myself like switching which environment I go for. But I would otherwise just go down one route.
Right, we've touched upon the thematic of this, which is absolutely incredible.
Haven't looked at the mechanics at all.
What about the mechanics? I think, personally, desert, 2 guaranteed fire damage.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
To each creature within 10 foot.
I have already mentioned the mechanics, actually, Lewis, so screw you.
No, you haven't. Shush.
Yeah. The fact that the desert and the tundra are both guaranteed.
Yeah.
And the fact all of these abilities scale with leveling puts it way, way above the Battle Rager.
Yep.
It is a solid third level ability.
Yeah.
Not too keen on the C one. I feel it being the only one that requires a dexterity save. I feel a bit.
It does still do damage on a failed save, though. It's half as much damage.
Yeah.
It is half as much damage, but I don't
like.
It's
still guaranteed damage.
It's still guaranteed damage, but I don't like how it's the only one that requires the dex save.
Okay.
That's what I don't like. I prefer the standard. Everyone takes damage, but the damage is set.
Yeah. What was I was looking at desert here. Interestingly, because the desert is all creatures within 10 feet. The sea is one target within 10 feet. And the tundra is all creatures of your choice. The desert one, the desert one is the only one where you don't have a choice who gets hit.
Yeah.
All creatures within 10 feet, including allies.
That is true, but at the same time, with the tundra, you don't want everyone to be affected, because you don't want to give your opponents temporary hit points.
Yeah.
Of your choice in the aura.
Yeah. So, I, despite that, think the desert is a preferred option over the sea. I keep on trying to say storm. These are all storms.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the desert one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me,
also,
the
damage types.
Yeah.
Gives the Barbarian so many more damage types.
It does. You've
2
got,
more.
Fire and lightning. It's more than no more.
Yeah.
to me, the desert one is not a lot of damage. It starts off at 2, and by 20th level, it's an extra 6 damage, but it's all creatures within 10 feet. And to me, that is a perfect opportunity for a Mage Slayer Barbarian. Just an
Ooh,
automatic additional damage that forces a concentration
another
check.
concentration check. And if you're going with the Mage Slayer archetype, the Mage Slayer feat, I mean,
Yeah.
Disadvantage on the save every time.
Yeah.
That is juicy.
Well, moving on. We really dug into that.
We did.
It's a good one.
It is.
This is a nice archetype. We have been talking for over 2 hours now. This is going to be a long episode.
We should cut it all.
Yeah.
Just have
Don't even have
the
an
moment.
episode.
I was going to say we could just keep the moments where you complain about Battle Rager. I feel like they take up more time. We should just cut everything where you do.
Oh. Okay.
Moving on to Storm Soul. It's just basically additional things to your aura. The mechanics are the same, but something else is added. So with Desert, you gain resistance to fire damage and don't suffer the effects of extreme heat. And you can touch anything that's flammable and set it on fire.
Yes.
This is when you're not raging as well. All of this, yeah. C is resistance to lightning damage. You can breathe underwater and gain a swimming speed of 30 feet. And Tundra is resistant to cold damage, don't suffer the effects of extreme cold, and you can touch water and turn a 5-foot cube of it into ice, which melts after 1 minute.
Holy shit, all of these are golden, and no one dare say otherwise. A free resistance, a free neat ability. It's all passive, but it works so neat.
Yeah.
And it
The
really
only one which
speaks about the thematics of the class.
I would say is a bit weaker is C. But that's only because of the swimming speed and breathing underwater.
I feel like
Unless
the C depends on the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're playing a campaign where it's set in the archipelago, for example, you're going to want that swimming speed because there's going to be shit ton of islands just dotted around the sea. But if it's set in a desert, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Where are you going to swim? Although,
all solid.
This does bring us back to the discussion choosing the storm environment depending on where the campaign is set. If you are playing a campaign in a desert, you are going to want to choose the desert for the Storm Soul, because don't suffer the effects of extreme heat. You're in the desert.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to stick to whatever environment you're in.
Yeah. Well-ish. Yeah. Yeah. With C and... Yeah. When you get to level 6.
Yeah.
Very much.
Alright, next ability, come on.
Yeah. Moving... I'm doing it!
No, I'm just saying, hold up. You've been like, don't take any breaks, guys. Every time I go on a rant and stop talking, it's silence.
But what do we have to reply to it? If I just go on to like another topic, then it seems rude.
Be rude. Save yourself the cutting.
Fine. Fielding Storm. So starting from now. Okay, 10th level is Shielding Storm, where at 10th level you use your Tundra you use your Storm Aura to give damage resistance to everyone in your aura, the one that you have. So if you have Tundra, everyone in the aura has cold resistance. If you're Desert, fire.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Hold up. Everyone of your choice, or just flat out everyone?
Each creature of your choice.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I like this, and it could be used defensively, or it could be used like the Evocation Wizard's first ability, so you can AoE more often with your allies in the way.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking more being able to use this, I mean, yeah, essentially, with the Desert Storm Aura in particular, because that also affects your allies, that extra damage that it does. So then giving them resistance to that is nice, because then you aren't hurting your allies as much.
Always good.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure your allies take more damage than the less damage than the monsters.
Coming from you, Igor.
Exactly. Oh, that was what I was referencing. Thanks for making it obvious.
Yep. Yeah. I also feel as though this ability is nice for like okay, we're running through blistering blizzard. I'm gonna start raging, everyone huddle around me, we're just gonna go for a dash. Like that kind of come close, I'll protect you from this bad weather.
I feel like this could be more used in combat. Like maybe not so much for the desert aura, because that's the one I mostly have in mind, but with the sea or the tundra, if you're facing something that does the damage type that you give resistance to, you just hang back with your allies. Give them that resistance. Everyone has resistance to the main damage type. 10 out of 10. We're done. We don't need to play anymore. We've reached peak party performance.
Yeah.
Yes. Beat D&D. Easy.
Game is complete, can no longer play.
Yep, 100% in.
That would have been a really useful ability when you guys facing those stalkers I brewed up. Their cold damage.
Yeah,
I mean, my resistance cold damage didn't do much.
Yeah, I had resistance. Didn't help a bunch.
Yeah, I specifically designed it that way, but you know.
Yeah.
I have to find a way of making you guys not demigods.
You really
Nerf
don't.
you guys a bit.
We struggle as it is. Or at least I do.
Okay. Well, what do we have for the 14th level?
Moving on, yeah. We have Raging Storm. Surprise, surprise. Is no. It is. It is with the aura. I'm just reading it now. Yeah. So it's just another additional thing to your storm aura. With Desert, after a creature in your aura hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to force that creature to make a Dex save, or Dex saving throw. Yeah. On a failed save, the creature takes 5 damage equal to half your Barbarian level. Yeah, with C, when you hit a creature in your aura with an attack, you can use your reaction to force that creature to make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is knocked prone as if struck by a wave. And with Tundra, whenever the effect of your storm aura is activated, you can choose one creature that you can see in the aura. That creature must succeed on a strength saving throw, or its speed is reduced to 0 until the start of your next turn, as magical frost covers it. Sentinel, anyone?
I love this ability.
Yeah.
This is really fun. I especially like how for the sea environment, they added the note as if struck by a wave.
Yeah.
It really sells the thematic approach they took to this archetype.
Yeah.
And it is juicily packed with abilities.
It is.
Oh my god.
You've got Desert, the retaliation. You've got Sea, which is a
knocking them prone.
Yeah, it's augmenting your own attacks. Although I think I prefer Tundra, just because it's augmenting the thing that you're probably going to be doing anyway, which is activating your Storm Aura. Because the Tundra one, the Storm Aura, gives allies. You're probably choosing allies anyway. Gives them temporary hit points, and then this makes it slightly offensive as well, and reducing their speed to 0 until the start of your next turn. That's a very, very barbarian thing, I feel. Keeping everyone grounded near you.
Yeah. Okay. before we continue, as a general rule of thumb, which of the environment do you guys prefer?
I like desert and tundra. I can't really choose between them. They're both. The only thing
Yeah,
with tundra is the temporary hit points, but that as a bonus action, completely free.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good. But I do like the free damage from desert.
Yeah. The temporary hit points aren't a lot, really. But to be fair, over the course of doing it every turn, it
that's a
can add
lot
up.
of temporary hit. And
Yeah.
honestly, to me, the third level ability for desert and tundra, they do the same thing, just differently. They put a difference between your side's HP pool and the opponent's side HP pool.
Yeah.
It's
I get it.
effectively doing the same thing.
Yeah. Except really the tundra doesn't stack. Temporary hit points don't add on, they replace. So if by 20th level, as a tundra barbarian here, you give 6 temporary hit points to an ally. If that ally doesn't take any damage that turn, and you give them 6 more next turn, they're not at 12. They keep 6, because that's the highest number out of the two.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a drawback, but
Yeah.
at the same time, fire damage is one of the most resisted damage types, and
That's
the
also
one
true.
there's the most immunities to. So if you're stuck against something that's resistant to fire damage, and assuming the campaign takes place in a desert, if you're playing with the theme, it's not unlikely your main ability is going to be near useless or completely useless. So both have their own drawbacks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, mechanically wise, I like Tundra more.
Ooh.
Okay.
The temporary hit points I feel are more useful than the extra damage, and that last ability really sold me.
The theme of sea, though, is
Ooh,
absolutely fantastic.
it is.
The
I
theme of
still have
sea
the
is
image of
good.
lightning arcing off of you around you as you're running in. Yeah,
You see,
sea is very
my
nice.
initial thought wasn't lightning. Mine was like the ground starts to get soggy with seawater, sea foam rising up. I was thinking
Okay.
like you almost bring the sea to you.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it
I
really
feel.
works with that ability where you knock the opponent prone, because you can
Yeah.
visually see a wave coming up with your weapon.
Yeah.
I think that theme is good. Although thematically, I'm more lenient towards the desert for no reason in particular. I just like the theme of a desert dwelling person.
Yeah.
I made a desert druid that one time and I'm sold. Yeah, that was
Okay.
a good archetype. More good archetypes, please.
It
Yeah.
is. That one
Well,
is up there.
moving on. Path of the Totem Warrior, which
Right.
Oh
personally,
god, no.
ooh woo, furry,
Yes.
is basically what it is. But
Yeah.
that's thematically, at its core, it is maybe the best archetype.
Mechanically, it may be the most powerful,
Yeah.
depending on the options you choose. That's the thing with this one. There are a lot of choices to make.
This is. I was actually going to say this with the Storm one, but I'm going to say it here because here it is far more appropriate. Both of these archetypes are almost classes themselves, wherein you choose your own archetypes every time
Yeah.
you unlock a new ability.
There are
It's
subroutes.
Yeah.
there's subroutes. It feels a bit like a game of dress up. It's not the best game of dress up because that's Warlock, but it's it's fun to have choices when you go down an archetype, and I am incredibly sad that other classes don't have archetypes like this.
Yeah.
Barbarian, I think, is the only archetype that has subroots like this. Correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong. Wait, I
mean-
am wrong. Druid, Circle of the Land.
Yes. Although that's yeah.
But even
don't
then,
think
it's
that
not
is as
quite.
impactful though.
Yeah. So, all in all, I wish more archetypes looked like this.
Yeah. Okay, as a Path of the Totem warrior, you get Spirit Seeker, which, following the furry theme, you gain the ability to cast Beast Sense and speak with animal spells only as rituals. So you can really communicate.
You really can.
I'd like to call back to Ancestral Guardians. This is a very similar ability to the one that let you cast Augury and Clairvoyance.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very thematic, really sells the theme of the Barbarian, the archetype, at least.
Yeah.
And also, it's the most forgettable ability in the entire game. I have seen so many Totem Barbarians, and only once has this ability ever been used.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
But when do you have time to cast a ritual? You need to run in and kill people.
True. You don't have like 10 whole minutes of no combat. You're a barbarian.
Yeah, it's always combat.
Always. That negotiation, combat.
I just remembered I was wrong again. There is an archetype which has subroots, I think, at least.
Oh.
Druid of the Shepherd. The Shepherd Druid.
Yeah.
That's a neat one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy. Now, let's move on to the third level ability. You don't need to know much about it. The only thing you need to know is you are going to choose Bear, and you're going to have resistance to every damage type except Psychic. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You'll choose Bear and you'll like it.
Yeah.
That is the only reason to go into this archetype.
Yeah.
At least from what I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, there are some other options that come close and that might be worth choosing, especially for the sake of thematics. But mechanically speaking, at least at third level, why anything but Bear?
When you have resistance to everything except psychic damage, but how often does that come up?
Yeah.
It does not come up often. The only real threat that deals psychic damage are Illithids.
Yeah.
Who?
Which could come up.
Which DM in their right mind will throw any number of Illithids at a third level party?
Axing the microphone.
Apologies, I got too carried away. This is the archetype that is going to ruin me.
Yeah.
And my audio quality, which is already in questionable shape.
Yeah.
Okay. I will repeat what I have said.
Yes.
Which DM in the right state of mind will ever throw an Illithid at a third level party?
I don't know.
No.
It is not the way to go. The only other solution is a spellcaster, but a barbarian is going to butcher that spellcaster like he's making a bread and butter sandwich.
Yep. Yeah. It's the psychic isn't going to come up often.
But when it does, you're screwed.
Yeah.
No, even when it does, you're not screwed because you have such an abundant amount of hit points, and psychic damage is known to deal pathetic amounts of damage.
Unless it's maddening darkness.
Unless it's maddening darkness, but that's an 8th level spell.
Yeah. So, it's going to take a while to come up.
Point is, you're going to choose Bear if you pick Totem Warrior. No one ever chooses the Eagle or the Wolf.
Yeah.
I feel like we should mention the others just for the sake of staying consistent.
We should.
Look through them.
I'm just saying no one's ever going to pick them.
The Eagle, I just want to say, I mean, it's pretty decent. It's probably one of the better ones here after Bear. by the way, gives you the dash action as a bonus action at 3rd level.
Oh my god!
Imagine waiting
Also,
until 10th level.
basically what I'm hearing is Bad Rage is still trash.
Yeah. Because this also gives creatures disadvantage on opportunity attacks against you.
Oh,
It's
that
just
is a
better.
good one.
This 3rd level ability is better than the 10th level Batter Ranger ability.
Yeah,
It's just better.
just better.
I'm
pretty sure the Battle Rager was released after the player handbook. How come this inconsistency not come up?
Yeah.
How could you screw up so royally?
Yeah. It doesn't work. But looking back at this, you've got Elk. Your walking speed increases by 15 feet. To me, the Eagle is just better. Unless you're using your bonus action every turn, you can instead dash, which will give you more than 15 feet extra walking speed.
Yeah. And you get disadvantage on opportunity attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the Eagle here is just outweighing the Elk.
Yeah.
Although,
weird image.
There are some effects where you might not want to dash, like if you're on a slippery surface.
Yeah.
But even
in
then,
general,
so it's not likely to come up, and if it is, you're not going to care about it as a barbarian.
No, with your danger sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And with the Tiger, while raging, you can add 10 feet to your long jump distance and 3 feet to your high jump distance. Don't take it.
No.
Unless you're jumping every... Don't take it. It's not very useful. Unless you are in a campaign where you are constantly having to jump over cracks, it's not useful.
I would like to take this opportunity to point out, I completely forgot that the Elk and the Tiger existed. Because I have the player's handbook in front of me, and bows don't exist there.
No. Yeah. I feel as though the Tiger, it's a fun idea, but that is far inferior to everything else there. Particularly the bear.
Particularly bear.
Yeah. Although, this does bring up a good point. You're only going to choose the bear at, well, you might choose the bear later on, but you're mainly going to choose the bear on the first ability at 3rd level. As you level up, you can choose different animals.
Yes.
And I feel the bear gets outweighed later on.
Yeah, although it still holds its own.
It holds its own, but I think Shiv proved to us that Eagle with a bit of flight might be a bit better.
Yeah.
I love your Eagle impression, Lewis. Thank you.
Running in a battlefield, flying your arms.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you watch the druid's face turn to horror as the barbarian lifts off the ground.
If that barbarian is a lizard folk, they can make bite attacks. I'm just saying.
What strength flaps are causing them to fly?
Yes. You intimidate the air into letting you fly.
No, you flex your muscles so high, they inflate and you float. There we go.
Yeah. Anyway, sticking to this level, the last option here is Wolf. Your friends have advantage on... Weird that it says friends, not allies, not non-hostile creatures. It specifies friends.
I think that's beautiful.
Yes, it does have to be people who have a relationship with and who will allow you to kind of like jive with them.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, because what is it? Your friends have advantage on melee attack rolls against any creature within 5 feet of you that is hostile to you. Spirit of the Wolf makes you a leader of hunters.
But I mean, if you don't like your trainer, like your master, this doesn't work on them.
Nope.
Because it's only your friends.
Nope. You have to be a friend. Can't just be acquaintances. can't have just
Cheryl from work won't be able to give you this advantage, unfortunately.
no.
But Wolf isn't a bad ability.
Yeah.
The only problem I have with it is if you use flanking rules like us, it is
Yes.
rendered essentially useless because you can
Yeah.
do that for free if you just position yourself correctly.
Yeah. It's very useful if you're not using flanking. If you are using flanking rules, like we tend to, it becomes almost useless. There are rare circumstances where it's still useful, but you may as well just flank.
One thing does it specify melee attacks?
Yes.
Then yeah, it is essentially useless if you use flanking.
Yeah.
I was thinking
I mean,
maybe ranged attacks. You could use it to give all your ranged buddies a hand, but no, apparently not.
No. It could be useful if you are using flanking and your enemy is aware of that and is being conscious of it and back themselves into a corner so that you can't flank them. But that's not going to be a super common situation.
Yeah, because most of our opponents are idiots with half a brain,
Yeah.
and it's the left half, the creative half,
Oh,
Yeah.
not the one that thinks.
yeah.
Oh.
All right, what's up with is it aspect of the beast? I'm trying to
Beast.
translate.
Yeah.
Oh
Good
my god.
translating.
Hell yeah. Level 6,
Yeah.
aspect of the beast. What
Yeah.
do we have in store there?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to read them all out, then we can comment on them.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
That might be more efficient, actually.
Bear. You gain a might of a bear. Your carrying capacity, including maximum load and maximum lift, is doubled, and you have advantage on strength checks made to pull, push, lift, or break objects. Eagle. You gain the eyesight of an eagle. You're able to see 1 mile away with no difficulty, able to discern even fine details as though looking at something no more than 100 feet away from you. Additionally, dim light doesn't impose disadvantage on your wisdom perception checks. Elk. Whether mounted or on foot, your travel pace is doubled, as is the travel pace of up to 10 companions while they're within 60 feet of you and you're not incapacitated. The elk spirit helps you roam far and fast. Tiger. You gain proficiency in 2 skills from the following list: athletics, acrobatics, stealth, and survival. The cat spirit hones your survival instincts. Wolf. You gain the hunting sensibilities of a wolf. You can track other creatures while travelling at a fast pace, and you can move stealthily while travelling at a normal pace. What do we think?
I think some of these are neat passive bonuses, and some of these would be neat passive bonuses if we use the travel rules like you're supposed to.
Like you're supposed to.
The elk is especially useless, I'd say, because we don't use travel rules. At least I don't in my games. I don't know if you, Bailey, secretly incorporate them.
No. For the first game I ran, I considered them and used them as a bit of a guideline, but it doesn't really come up often enough, nor is it all that important.
Yeah, it's just travelling. It's longer to get to the good stuff. Unless you're making the travel part the focus of the focus of it, then unless you can somehow make it interesting, what's the point? If you don't have a time constraint, what's the point?
Yeah. Although, if you are playing a campaign where time is running short, that could be very useful, especially if, I don't know, proper travel rules are incorporated.
That is still fairly, what do you call it? The opportunistic. Not opportunistic. Circumstantial.
Circumstantial. You have to build for the campaign in mind, or the DM has to build the campaign in mind with your character. With your character in mind.
With Bear, I think... Sorry, what were you saying? I'll put it in.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Elk and Wolf wouldn't necessarily choose them unless I knew the proper travel rules were being used. and then I'd proceed to read up on the proper travel rules because I don't know them.
Yeah.
All the other ones are neat passive bonuses.
Yeah. With bear, if you're actually taking into account carrying, it's pretty solid if you're going to be the, well, ironically enough, if you're going to be the donkey of the group.
Yes.
I mean,
An eagle. What do your elf eyes see, Legolas?
Yeah.
yes.
I've never seen the movie, but so I can't quote it. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Okay, shaming Lewis here. Shaming Lewis. He hasn't watched Lord of the Rings. He doesn't get any other references. Me and Bailey do.
Well, why would I watch that? It's for nerds.
Exactly, Lewis.
What do you think? Who do you think you're interacting with?
You are doing a podcast about D&D, Lewis.
Shut up! I'm so cool.
No.
No, I just haven't gotten around to it, honestly.
You should get around to it. It's only 10 hours-ish.
Oh, wow.
For the Lord of the Rings, anyway.
Yeah,
Excluding The Hobbit.
if you want to check in The Hobbit, that's extra. But I don't think they have all the Hobbit movies on Netflix, and they do have all the Lord of the Rings movies on Netflix.
I don't care about it. It's
Monster.
10 hours. Jesus.
Okay.
Peer pressure. My parents told me about you guys.
Yep. Hey, Lewis.
I get peer pressured into weird shit all the time. So
DVD copy of Lord of the Rings. No! Stay away!
Oh.
Anyway. Tiger.
Yeah.
Gain proficiency in 2 skills. Athletics, acrobatics, stealth, and survival. Not amazing, but not bad. You can't go wrong with proficiencies.
It's better than the previous Tiger one that we looked at.
yes, most certainly.
Yeah. 2 more proficiencies. That's pretty decent. Compared to the other options here, I think Elk and Wolf, you'd have to talk to your DM about what rules you're using, if that's going to be useful. Tiger, pretty decent with the 2 skills. Eagle is very much Legolas, what do your elf eyes see? And then I'd say Bear, even if you're not using carrying capacity, the advantage on strength checks to push, pull, lift, or break objects for the Barbarian is still going to come up quite a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like that's still pretty useful.
The thing is, as a Barbarian, if you're going to do this in combat, you're going to have advantage anyway. And if you're going to do it out of combat, you're likely not under time pressure. You can just attempt it several times.
Well, it depends what rules you're using. Because if you fail a check twice, I would say at that point, you're not doing it. That represents your inability to do it. You can't just keep retrying. You will wear yourself down.
I mean, if you really want something destroyed, you can just rage before breaking it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like the advantage on strength checks is probably going to be an out of combat thing. And it can come up a fair bit. And it's nice to still have advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. At 10th level, we get Spirit Walker. You can cast Commune with Nature spell, but only as a ritual. When you do so, a spiritual version of one of the animals you chose for totem spirit or aspect of the beast appears to you and conveys the information you seek.
For
10th level, it's okay. It's very thematic, and depending on how well you can use Commune with Nature, it's very circumstantial. But yeah, I mean, the rest of it has been solid.
Yeah.
This isn't...
It's not a bad one. It's not a bad one. Although, I am a little bit disappointed that there's no more... that there isn't any choices, like for the other abilities for this archetype.
Just wait.
Yeah. I like this ability. It's not super powerful, but Commune with Nature, it's not a bad spell.
It can give you a lot of information.
Yeah, it's an information gathering thing. It's not expending any resources. it is a ritual spell. It takes you 11 minutes to cast as a ritual. And it's also super cool and thematic to have the Barbarian kind of sit down and go into a primal meditation and channel the natural elements around them, the animals, the spirits of everything, and learn about their environment. I think it's very thematic.
Yeah.
Certainly. Well, level 14. What do we have, Bailey?
Ooh, what do we have? Let's see. 14th level, Totemic Attunement. You gain a magical benefit based on a totem animal of your choice. Bear. While you're raging, any creature within 5 feet of you that's hostile to you has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you or another character with this feature. Enemy is immune to this effect if it can't see or hear you, or if it can't be frightened. Eagle. While raging, you have a flying speed equal to your current walking speed. This benefit works only in short bursts. You fall if you end your turn in the air and nothing else is holding you aloft. Elk. While raging, you can use a bonus action during your move to pass through the space of a large or smaller creature. Target must make a strength saving throw, DC based on your strength, or be knocked prone and take bludgeoning damage equal to 1d12 plus your strength modifier. Tiger. While raging, if you move at least 20 feet in a straight line toward a large or smaller target right before making a melee weapon attack against it, you can use a bonus action to make an additional melee weapon attack against it. And finally, Wolf. While raging, use a bonus action on your turn to knock a large or smaller creature prone when you hit it with a melee weapon attack.
I completely forgot about Eagle. You are literally flapping your arms. You are so angry.
You are.
It is truly impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of these are neat, I'd say.
Yeah. None of them are particularly bad.
No.
But at the same time, I
some
think
are definitely better than others.
Yes, I was just about to say. I think some are flashier than others as well. I think Elk is a bit flashy. I like Elk's flashiness.
Kind of the same.
Yeah.
Except Elk has a bit more damage. And
I don't know about Elk, Tiger, and Wolf. Because they're all bonus actions. Elk and Wolf are both about knocking a target prone, but the Wolf one is just automatic, whereas the Elk one, you get probably a potential of 17 extra damage, but they might not be knocked prone.
Yeah.
And to me, knocking them prone is the point of the move, because it's then going to give you advantage on your actual attacks. Whereas then Tiger, it's also a bonus action. But that it's one extra melee weapon attack. I don't know, if you move at least 20 feet in a straight line, that doesn't feel worth it compared to Frenzy from the Berserker, where you just get an extra bonus action attack.
But with Wolf, the prone uses a bonus action, which I'm not sure you're going to be using anyway, but it's still a resource to have. While Elk, it's literally just... Oh, never mind, it is a bonus action.
Yeah, it is a bonus action.
Wolf is better.
Yeah, the Elk just feels inferior.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I feel like the Tiger, this 14th level option, doesn't feel as good as the 3rd level Berserker Frenzy.
I feel like that's the common theme we've had with the Tiger. It's good, but it's just outclassed by something else.
Yeah.
Who would have known?
Always just slightly inferior, and it's never good.
Poor Tigers.
I mean, if you are going for a character that is...
Like.
If you're going for a character that's strictly worse, where your main theme, where your main priority is a theme and combat isn't quite as relevant in the campaign, it could be a really good thematic approach, especially if the campaign is set somewhere where tigers are relevant.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel as though the ability could be altered to stand up to to the other options.
Yeah.
It could be. It could be. Now, personally, the bear ability for this level,
Ooh.
really it got me curious because it's a bit similar to the Ancestral Guardian's ability,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
but there's a few differences. First of all, it affects everyone within 5 feet of you, so that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Instead of just the one person you attack. But the line that says they have disadvantage on attacks against everyone other than you or someone else with this feature. Did Wizards of the Coast expect a party of Totem Bear warriors to come rolling up and just form a circle so they all have disadvantage on attacks
Yes.
against them? Is this what Wizards of the
That's a
Coast
good
feared?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, get rid of white out that little bit, and you've got a really solid party composition.
Yeah.
This also brings me back to the Ancestral Guardians. What if there's just a group of Totem warriors, Ancestral Guardian barbarians? They can give disadvantage on attacks against each of them, as long as
they
there's
can.
not enough enemies to overwhelm them.
Yeah.
And they can use the Spirit Shield and the Retribution on each other. Oh my god.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 party composition. I am sold on Ancestral Guardians. We don't need to carry on this video.
Just wanted to mention the eagle quick, just a little bit, because we didn't really talk about it. I mean, flying speed. Come on. I don't know. I find it weird to picture the barbarian doing short bursts of flight. The only way I can imagine that is like the Hulk.
Hulk jump, yes.
There's that's kind of close to a limited flight. But looking at if you chose the eagle as well at 3rd level for Totem Spirit, you can dash as a bonus action and as an action. And with the barbarian fast movement, say you start with 30 feet of movement, you're now at 40, dash as an action and bonus action, you've got 160 foot of speed that you can now use to fly.
Right, POV. You are a dragon, 70 feet in the air. on the ground, you can see a barbarian. They begin flapping their arms and thinking, oh god, what's this guy doing? And then very quickly gets up to speed and he zooms towards you.
Yeah.
Straight towards you.
Yeah.
You scream and you die.
You do.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. If you grab mobile feet, you can boost that 160 up to, 200 feet?
Yeah. It can become ridiculous quickly. If you're a tabaxi, that could become 400.
400 feet.
Yeah.
Very quickly. Flapping your arms.
What I'm picturing as well is a combination with a movable rod and haste. Because it's an action, I think, to activate the rod and an action to deactivate it. So you wouldn't be able to dash as your normal action or your hasted action. But the haste would make up for that. So you'd get the same speed, but you could jump into the air, activate the rod, and then next turn you deactivate it, continue flying, and then activate it again, because you've got enough actions to do that. And you could just keep chaining that, flying into the sky while you're raging as an eagle barbarian.
God.
And with haste, you get extra movement, so it makes up for.
Well, that's making up for the action you can't use. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just
don't we all remember the springs where we would be lying on the hill with the sun beaming down on us in the distance? We could see the eagle barbarians all hasted, using their removable rods to fly over to their next breeding place.
Yep. Wake up to the sound of the cawing barbarian.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Yes.
Let's move on to the last one, the Zealot
last one.
Barbarian.
Zealot.
We're Zealot. That's what I said. Fuck you.
Yeah. I was agreeing with you.
Sorry, force of habit.
Okay.
Wow.
Moving on to the Zealot, which is basically the gods like you, and they're like, yeah, this sounds cool. You know, if they want to live, go for it. Yeah. Starting, we have Divine Fury. You can channel Divine Fury into your weapon strikes while you're raging. The first creature you hit on each of your turns with a weapon attack takes extra damage equal to 1d6 plus half your Barbarian level. The extra damage is necrotic or radiant. You choose the type of damage when you gain this feature. Warrior of the God, the next one. At 3rd level, your soul is marked for endless battle. If a spell such as Raise Dead has the sole effect of restoring you to life, but not on death, the caster doesn't need material components to cast a spell on you.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Divine Fury, that's just flat damage.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Very much fits into the theme. I like that you get to choose necrotic or radiant, depending on your deity's alignment.
Yeah.
That's really nice. The scalability with half the Barbarian level added on, just beautiful.
1d6 plus 10 each turn if you're 20th level.
And
fantastic.
That d6 is going to get doubled for crits as well.
It gets out of hand really quickly from experience. Maybe it's just I'm remembering it weird, but sorry, maybe it's just me. I'm remembering it weird, but that goddamn Forsaken Barbarian that we shall not name, it's the one I mentioned at the beginning of the video. You're gonna have to go all the way back, watch the video from the start. You'll know which one I'm on about.
Episodes ago now.
Might have been last episode. Who knows? This is a nightmare.
The Tsundere. Oh, I don't care that you revived me, BB Barker. It doesn't change our relationship.
Exactly that one. An extra d6 plus half your level damage every turn, assuming you simply land a hit. It's a lot of damage. It stacks. Also, it's radiant damage. Not a lot of things are resistant to radiant damage. Even if you choose necrotic, very few things are resistant to necrotic either. So it's
Wait, what?
I hate it.
I don't know. Does it need to be nerfed?
I don't think so.
I don't think it needs to be nerfed strictly. Because compared to the other archetypes we've seen, there's definitely been more powerful bear.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm going to cry if I have a barbarian like this in my game.
Oh.
Unless the one excuse for playing this barbarian is if you actually play into the zealot part.
Yes, I feel like that's something you really do need to emphasize.
If you don't emphasize your archetype, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my opinion on that ridiculous feature. Moving on.
Warrior of the Gods. Oh my god. That is.
I think it's a really fun one.
I agree. Does it work with resurrection and true resurrection? Do they count as solely bringing you back to life? Because I think they also restore limbs and your body. But is that part
I'd count that.
I would count it. I'd
count it if
in that case
your body is used. If you don't have
that it specifies not undead.
Yeah, I think that's the important bit.
Yeah.
Oh, true resurrection. Just how much? True resurrection is a very expensive spell, sitting at 25,000 gold to bring you back from up to 200 years of death, and now it's free.
Yeah.
9th level, but free.
Save pennies.
It's not bad. Very thematic, I'd say.
Yeah.
But if your players really want to bring someone back, they are going to have the money for it.
Yeah. I don't feel
Saving
as
a
though
bit
this
of
is
money,
overpowered.
yeah. Maybe at earlier levels when Revivify costs like 300 watt.
Yeah.
So at earlier levels, it's definitely going to be a big help if the Barbarian happens to die. But if anyone else dies, and the Barbarian is the least likely to die,
Yeah.
it's still going to cost 300 gold. I don't think this is a bad feature, and
No.
very on point for selling the theme of the class.
Yeah.
Okay,
Alright.
moving on to Fanatical Focus.
Ooh.
The divine power that fuels your rage can protect you. If you fail a saving throw while you're raging, you can re-roll it, and you must use the new roll. You can use this ability only once per rage. Is that right?
Yeah. I
I
have
like-
several points to make on this.
Okay, go for it.
It's, for a start, if you fail a saving throw while you're raging. So unlike something like Indomitable that the fighter gets, you don't need to decide to do this before knowing the result. You can know the result and then decide to re-roll, which is quite interesting. It's usually not something that happens, I don't think. And then my second point was the last line. You can use this ability only once per rage. That's a very interesting way of limiting the Barbarian abilities that I don't think is seen in any other feature.
No, not really.
And
I was
it
going
seems,
to comment, I like how it limits it to the number of rages.
yeah. It's a great way of limiting it. I think it's fun, but it isn't used more, which is sad.
Yeah. Alright, what's the next one on the list?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you, Bailey.
Yeah. Good. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not a whole bunch to say about it otherwise. It is just you get to re-roll.
Yeah. Okay. At 10th level, Zealous Presence. At 10th level, you learn to channel divine power to inspire zealotry in others. As a bonus action, you unleash a battle cry infused with divine energy. Up to 10 other creatures of your choice within 60 feet of you that can hear you gain advantage on attack rolls and saving throws until the start of your next turn. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. For one turn, I think that's okay.
It is a bonus action, though. So
Yeah.
it's not really taking up much that you're going to be using. I think it's pretty good.
It's a
I
nice
think-
little feature to have.
Yeah. You're probably not using your bonus action for much else. So it is just
No.
this is the time, this is the moment, kill everyone.
But that's the problem. Like, since it specifies that saving throws are involved, I fear that some people might be like, I need to wait for the perfect moment.
Okay.
The perfect turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a risk of not being used because the player wants to wait and be a bit more reserved in their approach.
Yeah.
Although, I don't think that's how this feature should be used. I feel the main focus should be to get as many advantaged attacks as possible. So this would be the time for the wizard to cast that really big spell with a spell attack roll. Does it affect spell attack rolls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just attack rolls.
Yeah, spell attack roll. Yeah, go for it. Now's the time for that fighter to use its action surge and to deal a bajillion attacks.
Yeah.
Now's the time for the, I don't know, rogue to attack.
This just,
Like rogues need
Yeah.
any help attacking.
Oh. I feel like this is, you don't do this turn 1 because everyone needs to get into position. You maybe don't even do it turn 2, but you kind of do it in the thick of combat when everyone's ready to start hitting everything. I mean, you could use it defensively to, like, everyone's been hold personed and you want them to succeed on their save.
Oh yeah, like
But
that,
also-
certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel as though then you're probably not going to end up using it if you're waiting for moments like that.
Yeah, it's more use it like that if the opportunity arises. But mostly use it to get those advantage attacks in, because that's what you're really after.
Yeah.
Although the saving throws is a nice little addition, and if you use it to get the advantage attacks, and the opponent just so happens to also have a lot of area of effects, like, I don't know, a dragon, it'll be useful.
Yeah.
Right, moving on. Rage Beyond Death. Beginning at 14th level, the divine power that fuels your rage allows you to shrug off fatal blows. While you're raging, having 0 hit points doesn't knock you unconscious. You must still make death saving throws, and you suffer this normal effect of taking damage while at 0 hit points. However, if you would die due to failing death saving throws, you don't die until your rage ends, and you die then only if you still have 0 hit points. What the hell?
Oh my god.
This is the ability that makes me want to cry,
Yeah.
almost as bad as the first one.
Yeah.
When you're a player, just having a bunch of rounds where you're supposed to be dead,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be unconscious, but no, you are too angry. You
Here's
are
the thing.
filled with rage and zealotry that
Yeah.
you literally cannot die.
Yeah. There is a dangerous combination here, because first of all, Barbarian, it's not unlikely that you might be a half-orc, for example, to get that come back to 1 hit point, relentless endurance.
Yeah.
And then, as a Barbarian, 11th level, the relentless rage, you get to make multiple saving throws when hitting 0 to come back to 1. Right? So
Yeah.
they've taken you down like 5 times by this point. At which point, it doesn't matter that they've succeeded on finally taking you down. You are still alive at 0 hit points, fighting them.
But the
What?
real kicker is, they go through all that trouble to get you down through the outrageous amount of hit points you have. If they're not using magical damage like fire, acid, or something, they're hitting you with swords, clubs, maces, arrows, whatever. So it's such a pain getting you to 0 hit points. You keep coming back to 1 hit point. You just keep doing that a few times. And then when you finally should be unconscious, you're still conscious. When you should be dead, you're still alive, still fighting.
Yeah.
Cleric casts, the cleric casts, let's say, healing word.
Yeah.
And your rage, you're still alive.
Now, the more dangerous combo is persistent rage, next level. Your rage only ends when you choose it to end. Which means that you can just be at 0 hit points for a solid day while you wait for the healer to bring you back to 1 hit point so that you don't die. What?
It is powerful.
I mean,
Fantastic.
yeah. It's amazing, but
The fact
also
these
maybe a little
abilities-
bit overpowered.
The fact these two abilities are 1 level apart,
Yeah.
it befuddles me how they thought this could be a good idea. Oh, the Barbarian's impossible to kill. Well, how about this?
Yeah. I mean,
If ever I wanted a character to not die, this is the character to do it.
It really is. Where was the, if you die due to failing death saving throws, you don't die until your rage ends, and you die then only if you still have 0 hit points. So the implication of that is, someone can heal you, and so when your rage ends, it's as if you never hit 0 hit points.
Yeah.
It is literally that.
Yeah. It seems OP, especially with the persistent rage, but actually, considering the Warrior of the Gods ability, even if you did die, it would only take a 3rd level spell slot to bring you back. I mean, there would be some penalties because of the -4, and you might not have someone who can cast it. But
but even then,
do.
If your healer is right there when you end your rage and supposedly die, it's just a revivify. You don't suffer the penalties for revivify. You only suffer the penalties from Raise Dead Up.
Oh, yes. It's only Raise Dead. Yeah. Revivify is completely free except for the 3rd level spell slot. So that then means that last line isn't as OP, but it's still pretty ridiculous as an ability.
Unless the only way you could possibly go around this is knocking the Barbarian unconscious using a spell like Sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I think that's automatic then, isn't it?
and that's automatic no saving
Should be
throw.
then, yeah.
Yeah. Although you could be an elf or a warforged.
And then Sleep doesn't
Yeah.
work because you can't be magically put to sleep.
Yeah.
What a world!
What a world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Zealot's pretty good, isn't it?
It is. I would just say, Rage Beyond Death, I'd consider replacing this ability with something more along the lines of, I think just the Cavalier or the Samurai fighter have something where instead of staying alive forever, the Barbarian instead gets to take one more turn or something like that.
That's
They
the Samurai fighter. Yeah.
I
Now
think
that
something
would be
closer
cool.
to that. Yeah, that feels more reasonable than you get to stay alive forever.
Yeah.
Okay. In conclusion, I am going to go make Soft Boy and also my Desert Barbarian.
Yes.
I think Barbarian is a very solid one.
Yeah.
Like the base of it, the core of it is solid, and Battle Ranger. Some of them aren't too good, the subclasses, but you've got some good choice.
Yeah.
You've got the mindless, you've got a lot of choice, you've got the strategic. You really can't go wrong with a Barbarian as long as you're knowing where to look.
Yeah.
I would also like to point out Barbarian is a very good beginner class because you start off with a few nice perks and only really one thing to do, hit things. Only as you level up do you get more choices of what you want to do on your turn. And
it's a very steady progression, yeah.
Yeah.
So like you're slowly introducing things.
Yeah. And the archetypes are all very nicely themed, except for the Wild Ranger. We're not going to talk about that. But I generally like this class, despite not having played it much. I would like to play it at some point, definitely now.
Oh yeah, I have been inspired by doing this.
Me too.
Yes.
Like I need to get me a desert Barbarian. Just the whipping sands.
Oh, that's too much.
Okay.
We might have to. Whoa.
How about a Barbarian one shot?
Ooh.
A monoclass Barbarian one shot.
Could be.
Just get a bunch of bears in one
No.
room. Sounds like my Saturday
and then play
evening.
Yeah. Great.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
If we do a mono Barbarian thing, and we just agree no totem bears?
Wow. That's
Can we just agree none of that shit?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I think my own personal closing words on Barbarian. I agree, Lewis. Yeah, the core class, fantastic. I don't think there was really anything that we thought should change.
Not really.
I think it's all solid. Then archetypes, a lot of great ones, some far less than great ones, which should maybe just be completely overhauled. In terms of the good ones, which was, Ancestral Guardian, Berserker, Storm Herald, Totem Warrior, Zealot, some of them are... It's not entirely balanced. I feel some are stronger than others, but I think it's fairly close. It's fairly well done.
If you're a beginner, Barbarian is not a bad choice for you.
Yeah.
I think the only thing to really... the most complex thing you need to concern yourself with playing a Barbarian as a new player is the noodly bits of Rage. The details of what it does, when it ends, when it doesn't. But that's your only concern.
I think also Barbarian has a lot more potential for characters than people give it credit for. And I would love to see a lot more Barbarians that aren't two-dimensional. Let's give our wall a third dimension, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not make them paper thin.
No. Nice.
Well done. That was a lot of Barbarian to sit through, if you did sit through all of it, mind you. We're covering Bard next, so if you'd like to go over, we should hopefully have that up soon. I hope this has been useful to you as some form of resource. Yeah, hopefully this helps. Bye-bye.